Clayton Kershaw may be just one more rehab start away from returning. A 14th Dodger pitcher, though, goes on the injured list, and the Galaxy are just one loss away from setting a league record for ineptitude. Good morning. I'm James. And this is your daily dose of sports and snark for the greatest sports city in the world, Los Angeles. This is the Faithful Angelenos Morning Report. It is May 8, 2025. Back in Portland for work. We already knew that, and it's pretty miserable, but whatever. Even on bad days, we start off by talking about the glory of LA. And if you like being in the know about LA sports, click the like button. Click the subscribe button. There's a notification bell. Hit that. It lets you know when we drop new content. Sharing is caring. Let people know we exist. And by all means, comment. And we're going to have a lot of Dodger news to talk about today. So before we go through the news and notes, we do have a look at the scoreboard. Dodgers 10, Miami 1. Now look, we already know the Dodgers are going to win the West. It's only a matter of time. So because we know that, we update the magic number. It's down to 125. Meanwhile, the Dodgers flew back west, just not all the way west. They landed in Phoenix. They're going to take on the Diamondbacks tonight at 6:40. So, what do you say we get to the news? According to Dave Roberts, Clayton Kershaw could just have that one more rehab start before he finally comes back to LA. We previously mentioned that the first ballot Hall of Famer, let's be honest, Kershaw's not going to miss out on the first ballot. He's going in. That he made a side trip to Arizona for a throwing sesh, but his final start in the Midwest manure pit is coming Sunday. He is eligible to come off the injured list in 10 days. So if you look at it that way, do the math, right? Now, Kershaw had surgeries to a knee and a toe last offseason. He's made 4 rehab starts, plus the aforementioned throwing sesh. Roberts said Kershaw built up his pitch count to 90, which is super close to full strength. And let's be real, it would be a blessing to see him back on the bump. Not just because he's 32 strikeouts away from 3,000. Oh no, the Dodgers need him. This is not a finale tour like John Cena of the WWE. No. The Dodgers absolutely need him because the season is barely a month old and LA has already started 11 different pitchers. The Dodgers are on pace, and this is going to be an awkwardly phrased sentence, but it'll come to light pretty quick. The Dodgers are on pace for the bottom 5 innings output for starting pitchers in baseball history. What does that mean? Dodger pitchers only go 4.5 innings on average. A starter has to go 5 innings to qualify for a win. They can't even go that far. Now, remember how we were talking about this amazeballs Dodger pitching depth before the season began? Do you? How you could go down a list of 9 guys who could have started in the rotation on opening day. Well, 2 of those 3 are already on the injured list, and Blake Snell and Tyler Glasnow. We would consider ourselves fortunate if either of them are going to be back in June. Now, Snell and Glasnow, they're going to have their first throwing sesh on Friday. But as for the here and now, the depth is absolutely being tested because when they call somebody up from the minor leagues, it hasn't worked. Tony Gonsolin has come back. He's filled 1 spot. So yeah, Clayton Kershaw is a definite must. For those of you, no disrespect to you guys either, but for those of you who were disrespecting Kershaw last year, saying it was time to move on, it clearly isn't. And by the way, let's get to our latest daily Dodger injured pitcher update. As a matter of fact, I don't think that scream was loud enough. Let's try it again. Let's go for our daily Dodger injured pitcher update. That's more like it. Evan Phillips, who was the team leader in saves last year, he's going on the injured list with forearm discomfort. He started the season on the injured list, Came back for just a couple of weeks. Now he's going back on. And once again, by the way, in typical Dodger fashion, they're trying to downplay the severity of the issue. Discomfort, right? Literally, when you hear the word discomfort, it sounds like maybe you sat on a pile of Legos that the kid left on the couch. But this is not discomfort. The synonym for discomfort is pain. He has forearm pain. They just don't want to use the word pain. So they put him on the 15-day injured list. Matt Sauer has been recalled from AAA. So we mentioned just a moment ago that the Dodger starters are only going 4.5 innings, right? Gee, I wonder why the bullpen is falling apart. Could it possibly be that they're having to pitch for half a game every single night? Take a look at Phillips. Again, starts the season on the injured list. He was activated on April 19th. What did the Dodgers do? They put him out there in 7 of the next 14 games. And speaking of 14, that's the number of Dodger pitchers that are currently on the injured list. They couldn't even ease Evan Phillips back in. They just threw him right into the middle of a boiling pot of water. Now, as for Phillips, who is often injured, he did miss the World Series last year, Robert claims that the pitcher might not need an MRI. I'm skeptical about that. We've been talking about this. Forearm issues can be a symptom of a blasted out ulnar collateral nerve. And if that's the case, it's Tommy John surgery for him. Now, I realize that's just speculation. But we keep talking about Dodger injured pitchers. And by the way, Landon Knack, summoned from AAA, he pitched in Miami yesterday, contributed 5 shutout innings. He replaces JP Fireeisen, who is not injured, but again, talking about how wasted the Dodger bullpen is from all these extra innings. Fireeisen spent a grand total of 1 day with the Dodgers, pitched to only 3 batters. Thanks for coming. But again, it goes back to what we've been talking about since the beginning of this clip. The Dodgers have a top 3 bullpen. They had extreme depth with the rotation. But when you have starters that can't even make it for 5 innings, at what point do the relievers get gassed? And you're saying, well, why don't the Dodgers recognize this? Well, Dave Roberts does. He says that the usage is, quote, absolutely not, unquote, sustainable. You don't say. You really don't say. Because we've been hearing this for years, guys. The Dodgers even commissioned a quote unquote blue ribbon panel, unquote, try to find the reason. Which, by the way, is exactly what happens in politics. Whenever racism, we've got to put together a blue ribbon panel to determine what's causing racism. And of course, they come back with nothing. It's the same thing with the Dodger pitching staff. It comes down to what the Dodger organization is asking of its pitchers, how they are coaching their pitchers, which is why I keep mentioning maybe Mark Pryor needs to go. They just don't want to admit it yet. Meanwhile, the 6-time MLS Cup champion Galaxy, the defending MLS Cup champion Galaxy, the club that I adore, they are this close to setting an MLS record for sucking. They're currently tied for the longest opening season winless streak in MLS history. They have not won in any of their first 11 matches. They will go into Saturday's match at New York Red Bulls, and the season is about to get worse because they will go in without Joseph Paintsil and perhaps Gabriel Peck too. Both of them wingers, which makes them critical to Greg Vanney's offensive scheme. Good luck generating any offense against the team that wants revenge over losing MLS Cup in December. And it's kind of amusing because the LA Times reported that there has been no progress between the Galaxy and manager Greg Vanney on a new contract. He's in the final year of his current deal. No progress, huh? I wonder why. What a mystery wrapped in an enigma. Now, I'll tell you this much. A few days ago, I took to Twitter. And who cares what anybody calls that app now? Formerly known as X, formerly known as Prince. Who cares? And I suggested that Vanney might have to go, despite the fact that he guided the team to an MLS Cup in December. The idea of Vanney out is starting to gain traction in national soccer circles. They are no longer accepting the premise that Ricky Puig being sidelined means that the Galaxy are this bad. They're writing the same thing that I've been saying to you guys now for the last couple of weeks. There are other teams out there with significantly worse rosters than what the Galaxy have. And yet, only 2 teams have 0 wins. And Vanney's side is one of them. Season's a third over, folks. You can't not have a win for a third of a season this long and not pay a price. Speaking of teams that made somebody pay a price, yesterday we mentioned that Kings president Luc Robitaille wants to have some punch and pie with Marc Bergevin about the vacant general manager position. The Athletic reports the New York Islanders would also like to chat with Bergevin. Also, assistant general manager Nelson Emerson, a former Kings player, is a potential in-house candidate. Now, keep in mind, I've been saying for about a week that an in-house promotion with the Kings is not necessarily a benefit to the franchise. Because the Kings have had multiple former players serve as GM. Every last one of them stepped on a rake. Every last one of them. Their 2 Stanley Cups came with a guy who served as GM for Philadelphia and came across to do the same job for LA. The Athletic reports that Rob Blake leaves his GM post, by the way, without any hard feelings. Now, this is what they're saying. I tend to believe it. Allegedly, Blake, who is a former player, told Robitaille he believes if he is to hold players and coaches accountable, then he should be too. So he fell on the sword. Noble. Noble. And by the way, the Rams plan to hold their veteran mini camp in Hawaii, and I don't care. I don't. Also, in related news, the Rams are going to have an alternate helmet and an alternate uniform that they'll wear once or twice during the upcoming season. And I don't care. I don't care. Ooh, they're going to wear yellow. Ooh, they're going to wear... I don't care. I don't care. I just want my team to win. I've rooted for LA teams even when they've not had attractive uniforms. I don't care. You know what that is? It's simply a way for the NFL to make more money that they lost when they couldn't allow fans in the stands at COVID. You can come up with 50 uniforms, each of them in descending levels of quality. You could have somebody walking out in bell bottoms and a pink sombrero. I don't care. I just want my team to win. But you let me know what you think in the comments thread. Talk to me, for example, about the state of Dodger pitching, and for that matter, what's even worse, the way the Galaxy have started? And if you enjoyed the content, don't forget to subscribe to Faithful Angelenos. We're talking LA sports every single day here. Thank you for watching. I'm James, and we'll be back tomorrow. Faithful Angelenos is a Kian Cortel Queso production. Take care.